Have you ever been caught in a moment of rage, only to look back and deeply regret your actions? Or maybe you found yourself making promises you couldn't keep, watching your credibility slip away as your good intentions fall short. What if I told you that by simply avoiding a few common missteps, you could dramatically change the course of your life, leading you to a place of inner peace, fulfillment, and purpose? In today's video, we're going to dive into 5 timeless lessons passed down through generations that can help you not only navigate the obstacles life throws at you, but also enable you to live with more wisdom and clarity. We'll be looking at the powerful impact of uncontrolled anger, the undeniable truth that actions speak louder than words, and the importance of knowing when something is simply not worth your time or energy. These principles have stood the test of time for a reason. They're practical and life-changing. And we're not just talking theory here. We'll share real stories of how these mistakes play out in everyday life, and more importantly, how you can avoid falling into the same traps. If you're exhausted from repeatedly making the same errors, and you're ready to take control of your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your future, stick with us until the end. By the time you finish this video, you'll understand why maintaining calmness in the face of adversity is key to overcoming challenges, why showing up with actions is infinitely more powerful than simply speaking your mind, and why not everything is worth your emotional investment. These are the secrets to creating a life that's peaceful, prosperous, and meaningful. Don't miss out on this valuable wisdom. Let's take this journey together and uncover the tools that will unlock the secrets to a successful, peaceful life. And hey, if you're new here, I'd love for you to join our community. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our future videos. Your support means so much to me, and if this video resonated with you, feel free to like and share it. Together, we can continue spreading these life-changing lessons to others. If you're enjoying this topic, leave a 1 in the comments below. But if this video didn't quite hit the mark, leave a 0, and tell me how I can improve and make content that truly serves you. Let's get started. First, foolishness. Building a house too big. From the very beginning of human history, the concept of a home has symbolized much more than just 4 walls and a roof. It represents stability, success, and personal achievement, deep-rooted aspirations that have guided us through centuries. Yet, in today's world, far too many people have come to view a house not just as a sanctuary but as an external symbol of their worth. A home becomes a stage on which individuals feel compelled to showcase their status, their accomplishments, and their supposed success. Sadly, many push themselves beyond their limits, even dipping into their savings or taking out enormous loans, in an attempt to build a mansion that will catch the eye of others. But here's the question that often goes unasked. Will such a house ever bring true contentment, or will it merely generate an avalanche of new problems and overwhelming stress? I often wonder why we've allowed ourselves to believe that the more extravagant the home, the more successful the individual. Our ancestors understood something profound, that real wealth is not something to be paraded in front of others. True happiness doesn't lie in showing off material possessions, and certainly not in erecting a building so vast that it creates more headaches than joy. Yet we have been conditioned to think otherwise, chasing after the approval of society, striving to impress friends, colleagues, or mere acquaintances. The larger the house, the higher the status, they say. But in reality, how many of these grandiose homes bring the peace and tranquility they promise? How many people, after receiving a few fleeting compliments, are left standing alone in a space that now only reminds them of their choices? The financial strain that comes with such decisions is often far more significant than most people realize. To afford a large, lavish house, many go into debt, taking out hefty loans or mortgages. The price of that dream home might seem worth it at the moment, but soon enough, they find themselves shackled by debt that never seems to end. Month after month, they pay off loans, watching their bank balance dwindle as their freedom slips away. In the meantime, other important aspects of life, saving for the future, spending quality time with family, or even enjoying a simple day of peace, become distant, almost forgotten. So many of us find ourselves caught in a vicious cycle, endlessly working to pay for the dream that now feels like a burden. In this mad dash to maintain an image, we forget the simple joy of a peaceful, fulfilling life. We forget the importance of well-being, health, and time spent in moments of true connection. Perhaps the most devastating consequence of all is the toll this lifestyle takes on our physical and mental health. The constant worry about money, about making the next mortgage payment, about whether you can meet all the expenses, saps energy in ways we rarely acknowledge. Stress becomes a constant companion. And as stress deepens, so do the physical effects. Sleepless nights, heightened blood pressure, fatigue that never seems to ease. What was meant to be a dream home quickly transforms into a place of suffocating pressure, a daily reminder that the house has now become a prison. What was supposed to be a sanctuary, a refuge from the world, turns into a source of ongoing dread. The exhaustion becomes more than just emotional. It settles into the body and soul until one day you find yourself physically ill from the weight of the life you've chosen. I wonder how many people, trapped in these golden cages, lie awake at night, regretting the decision to chase after something that, at the end of the day, never fulfilled them. So, what is the wise choice? What should we be striving for if not grandeur and excess? It's simple, though it may be hard to accept. Enough. Your home doesn't need to be a sprawling mansion to be meaningful. A home should be a place where your family can gather, share meals, and create memories without the constant worry that comes from trying to keep up with a lifestyle that isn't sustainable. A true home fits within your means, one that provides a space to rest, rejuvenate, and feel safe without the overwhelming stress of financial strain. The real beauty of a home is found not in its size or splendor, but in the way it nourishes the heart and soul. As the saying goes, happiness doesn't come from a big house, but from a peaceful mind. In the end, the house is simply a structure, a shell to protect us from the elements. The true essence of a home lies in the moments we share inside it. The laughter, the love, the warmth that fills it. Don't let the false allure of grandeur tempt you into sacrificing your peace of mind. Don't let the fleeting desire for admiration steer you toward a life of stress, regret, and endless toil. Choose a simpler path. Choose sustainability. Choose a home that is a true refuge, one that gives back more than it takes. For it is in simplicity that we often find our greatest contentment, and in the warmth of loved ones, we find all the riches we could ever need. Second, foolishness. Giving too much to your children. Today, let's take a moment to reflect deeply on a profoundly emotional and life-altering story, a story that speaks not just to the heart, but to the soul. Have you ever pondered whether giving away all of your wealth to your children is truly the answer to securing their happiness and well-being, or could it lead to a devastating path of heartache, loneliness, and regret in your later years? This question resonates powerfully when we hear the heartbreaking story of Susan, a 72-year-old mother who poured everything she had into her children, convinced that in doing so, she would ensure their future happiness, and, ultimately, her own. Susan worked tirelessly throughout her life, sacrificing her desires, health, and well-being, all in the name of providing her children with a better life. She saved every penny, delayed her pleasures, and invested every ounce of energy into creating a nest egg, believing with all her heart that this would be the key to securing their success and a secure, loving future for herself in her old age. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. For years, Susan's life was a relentless pursuit of her children's future. A future she envisioned would be filled with love, security, and the comfort of knowing they would take care of her in return for her sacrifices. Yet, as the years went by, something profoundly painful began to unfold. When the time came for Susan to pass on her hard-earned wealth to her children, expecting that this would come full circle in the form of love and care, she was met with a chilling reality. Instead of gratitude, her children became indifferent. Some grew distant, while others acted with outright disrespect as if the bond they once shared had been severed by the very wealth Susan had selflessly given. The dream Susan had cherished for so long, that in her twilight years she would be surrounded by the love and affection of her children, evaporated into a harsh, isolating reality. What she did not foresee was that her generosity would strip her of her independence, her dignity, and, most tragically, her sense of self-worth. No longer able to care for herself, Susan found herself in a vulnerable position, dependent on the very children she had sacrificed everything for. But rather than receiving the care and devotion she had envisioned, she found herself cast aside, as her children, who now lived with the fruits of her labor, failed to reciprocate the love she had so freely given. This is not an isolated tragedy. Far from it. This is an all-too-common outcome in today's world. Driven by love and a desire to provide the best for our children, many parents give everything they have, believing that their wealth will secure their children's happiness and, in turn, their peace of mind as they age. But what happens when that hope for reciprocity is shattered? What happens when, instead of gratitude and support, parents are left feeling abandoned, lonely, and without a safety net? Our ancestors spoke with wisdom that resonates through the ages. When the water is full, it overflows. Giving too much can harm the children. This ancient saying holds a profound truth. When we give everything away without ensuring our future, we set in motion a series of devastating consequences. Firstly, we risk raising children who expect their parents to continually provide for them, leaving them ill-prepared to face life's challenges with the resilience and self-sufficiency they desperately need. By creating a pattern of dependency, we inadvertently rob them of the opportunity to learn the value of hard work, perseverance, and responsibility. Secondly, when parents are left with nothing, having sacrificed all for their children, they find themselves at the mercy of their children in their later years. But, as we all know, not every child is prepared to step up when their parents need them most. Not every child is capable, willing, or even interested in providing the care and support that their parents once envisioned. This betrayal not only causes financial hardship but also inflicts deep emotional pain, leaving parents feeling utterly alone and forsaken in their time of need. From my perspective, true love for your children is not about sacrificing everything you have in a misguided attempt to shield them from the hardships of life. True love lies in teaching them the vital lessons of independence, responsibility, and resilience. It is about showing them the importance of standing on their own 2 feet, facing life's trials with strength and grace, and, above all, understanding the value of hard-earned success. As parents, we must remember that while it is a noble thing to help our children, we must never forget to help ourselves. We must ensure that we have something left for our retirement, health care, and well-being. This not only provides us with the peace of mind to age with dignity, but it also teaches our children a vital lesson: the importance of self-reliance and the understanding that life is a journey of responsibility and effort, not entitlement. In the end, we must remember the wisdom our ancestors shared. Teaching children to be independent is not about making them dependent on you, but preparing them to face life with confidence. The greatest gift we can give our children is not wealth, but the gift of independence, resilience, and a profound understanding of the sacrifices we made on their behalf. By doing so, we empower them to thrive, while ensuring that we, as parents, can enjoy peace, dignity, and the love that comes from knowing we have not only cared for our children but also prepared ourselves for the journey of life. Third, foolishness: earning money at the expense of health. Since the beginning of time, our ancestors have passed down a profound truth. Health is the truest form of wealth. And yet, in the frantic whirlwind of modern life, so many of us have become blinded by the glitter of money, sacrificing our most precious asset, our health, along the way. We get so caught up in the chase for more, thinking that wealth is the key to happiness and security, unaware that once our health begins to deteriorate, no amount of money can ever bring it back. Health is the foundation upon which everything else is built, and without it, we are left with nothing but the painful consequences of our choices. I want to share with you a story that underscores the irreplaceable value of health, a story that serves as a stark reminder of what we stand to lose when we prioritize money over well-being. It's the story of Jack Thompson, a wealthy businessman known for his sharp intellect and impressive fortune. Jack had always believed that his success would guarantee a comfortable future for his family. Driven by ambition and an insatiable desire to provide for his loved ones, he worked tirelessly, day and night, without ever stopping to think about the toll it was taking on his body. In his mind, health could wait. It was something he would attend to later, once the financial security of his family was assured. But life, in its unpredictable and often cruel way, had a different plan for Jack. One day, while at work, he suddenly collapsed. Rushed to the hospital, he was given a diagnosis that would forever change his life: severe heart disease. The doctor's words were chilling. Unless you make drastic changes to your lifestyle, you will not be able to continue working as you have. There he was, a man who had built an empire, who owned a sprawling mansion and countless luxuries. Yet suddenly, none of that mattered. He had devoted so much of his energy to building his wealth that he had neglected the very thing that allowed him to enjoy it: his health. Now, sitting in a sterile hospital room, Jack realized with a deep, painful clarity that no amount of money, no sprawling estate, could restore what he had lost. The things he had taken for granted, walking with his children, taking a stroll in the park, spending time with his wife without feeling drained, now seemed so distant, almost unreachable. His health had betrayed him, and no riches could turn back the clock. Jack's story is a powerful and heartbreaking reminder of the dangers of putting financial success above everything else. In today's fast-paced world, it is easy to fall into the trap of believing that wealth is the key to happiness. We work ourselves to the bone, skipping meals, sacrificing sleep, and neglecting exercise, all in the name of earning more money. We convince ourselves that once I've made enough, I'll take care of my health, not realizing that the body we neglect today won't wait until tomorrow. It deteriorates slowly but surely, and once it's gone, no amount of money can bring it back. The truth is, that money can buy temporary fixes, medicine, healthcare, and treatments, but it cannot buy back the joy of living fully, the feeling of vitality, and the energy to enjoy life to the fullest. When our health is compromised, we find ourselves unable to appreciate the simple pleasures of life, like walking hand in hand with a loved one in the cool evening air or laughing with family without the looming shadow of illness. And worse yet, our deteriorating health doesn't just affect us. It spills over into the lives of those we love. Our families, friends, and loved ones are left to carry the emotional and financial burdens of our neglect, and the weight of their concern only adds to our suffering. Our ancestors were wise when they said, "A fool sacrifices their life for money, while a wise person knows how to preserve their health." These words resonate deeply with me, and I believe they hold an eternal truth. Health is more precious than anything money can buy. It is more important than the highest paycheck or the grandest luxury, and it is something we must protect with everything we have. Instead of working ourselves into the ground, let's focus on taking care of our bodies and minds. Let's prioritize good food, regular exercise, and mental well-being. These are the things that sustain us, allowing us to continue to enjoy life's blessings and work toward our goals with a healthy spirit. True wealth isn't found in the size of our bank accounts or the number of possessions we own. It's found in the ability to wake up each day with energy, cherish the moments with our loved ones, and pursue our passions without the constraints of illness. We must remember that the key to long-term happiness and success lies not in the money we make, but in the health that sustains us. Only when we take care of our bodies can we truly enjoy the fruits of our labor. Let's not wait until it's too late to realize this truth, because the cost of neglecting our health is something we can never afford. Fourth, foolishness. Anger is the most useless emotion. In the journey of our lives, we all encounter those moments, the ones that stir something deep inside us, a bubbling cauldron of frustration and irritation. We all experience the slow, creeping burn of anger when things go wrong or when we feel disrespected, misunderstood, or mistreated. At times, it feels as though we have no choice but to let this emotion take over. It surges like a violent storm, taking us over and clouding our judgment. It's in these moments that we say things we don't mean, make decisions we wouldn't normally consider, and take actions that we will later regret. Anger has the power to strip us of our rational thinking and leave us, quite frankly, feeling foolish and vulnerable. The timeless wisdom of our ancestors reminds us, Anger only makes the fool more foolish. This powerful saying carries a depth that is often overlooked, yet its truth is undeniable. I have witnessed countless times how anger leads to irreversible damage, not only in our relationships with others but within ourselves. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates the destructive nature of uncontrolled anger, a story that still haunts me to this day. In a quiet, humble village nestled in the heart of a sprawling countryside, there lived a farmer named Frank Miller. Frank was a simple man, one who lived by the sweat of his brow and the long hours spent tending to his land. He had the patience of an ox when it came to his work, but when it came to his emotions, well, that was a different story. Frank had one Achilles heel, a short temper that could ignite with the slightest spark. It wasn't that he was a cruel man. Quite the opposite. He had a heart of gold and a deep love for his family and his farm. But once anger took hold of him, there was little he could do to control it. Frank's temper was infamous in the village. He could be counted on to lose his cool at the smallest inconvenience. A broken plow, a delayed delivery, or even an innocent comment from a neighbor could send him into a fit of rage. His wife, children, and the villagers learned to tiptoe around him when they sensed the brewing storm. His family tried, time and again, to help him manage his emotions, but Frank was stubborn. He believed that expressing his anger was the only way to feel in control. Little did he know, it was his anger that controlled him, ruining so much in his life. One fateful summer afternoon, Frank was working in his fields, as he did every day. His back ached from the sun, and his hands were raw from the constant toil. As he walked back to the barn, something caught his eye, a sight that sent his blood running cold. His prized horse, the one he had raised from a foal, was gone. Someone had stolen it. The realization hit him like a punch to the gut. His heart raced, and his mind clouded with fury. How dare someone take what was his? How dare they violate his hard work and his trust? If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. In that instant, his world narrowed to a single focus: revenge. He didn't stop to think. He didn't pause to weigh the consequences. He grabbed the first thing he could find, a shovel, and sprinted out the door, determined to track down the thief. His anger blinded him to everything else. The world around him became a blur as his thoughts were consumed by rage. He didn't care about the rough terrain, the uneven ground, or the risks of running without looking. The thief would pay, and Frank would be the one to make it right. But as he charged through the fields, his focus entirely on his thirst for retribution, disaster struck. He didn't see the jutting root, the uneven patch of dirt, or the hidden rock beneath his feet. His foot caught, and in an instant, Frank was flying through the air. His body hit the ground with a sickening thud. Pain shot through his leg and his back, and he cried out in agony. He tried to stand, to push through the pain, but his limbs wouldn't obey him. As he struggled to regain his balance, the thief had already disappeared into the distance, his horse long gone. Frank lay there in the dirt, his body bruised and broken, but the real pain wasn't physical. It was the bitter sting of knowing that his anger had led him nowhere. His horse was still gone, and now he was injured and alone. The rage that had blinded him had only cost him his time, his energy, and most tragically, his chance to make a rational decision. His anger had not only failed to bring justice but had also compounded his suffering. This story is a heartbreaking reminder of the destructive nature of unchecked anger. It doesn't just tear apart relationships and cause irreparable damage to trust. It harms us, physically and emotionally. Anger clouds our judgment and distorts our perception of reality. When we let anger control us, we act impulsively and make choices that we later regret. We risk damaging not only our relationships with others but also our relationship with ourselves. Anger steals our peace, our happiness, and our well-being. It is a silent thief that takes without offering anything in return. But it doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to let anger control us. We can choose to pause, to reflect, and to respond with clarity and wisdom. The wisdom of our ancestors teaches us that calmness is the foundation of true strength. When anger rises within us, we can choose to step back and breathe. We can give ourselves a moment to think, to reflect, and to ask ourselves, is this anger truly worth it? Is this situation worth the emotional toll I am about to pay? In those brief moments of reflection, we may find that the situation is not as dire as we initially thought. We may realize that anger is not the solution, but a hindrance, clouding our judgment and preventing us from seeing the bigger picture. Often, a few seconds of silence can help us regain control, bringing us back to a place of peace and rationality. And in that clarity, we can respond in a way that is far more effective and productive than any impulsive outburst could ever achieve. Anger, in the end, is a fruitless emotion. It does nothing but destroy. It tears apart our relationships, damages our bodies, and steals our peace. But calmness, that is where true strength lies. By choosing to remain calm, we free ourselves from the chains of anger and unlock the power to navigate life's challenges with grace, wisdom, and resilience. When we choose calmness over fury, we create space for healing, growth, and the wisdom that comes from looking beyond our immediate emotions. So, friends, the next time anger rises within you, remember Frank's story and choose to pause, breathe, and reclaim your peace. Stay calm. For in calmness, there is strength. In calmness, there is peace. And in peace, there is the power to overcome anything life throws your way. Fifth, foolishness. Saying 10 things is not as good as doing one thing. In life, we often come across people who are full of talk but short on action. Those who endlessly spin grandiose plans and promises but fail to follow through when the time comes. Words can be captivating and inspiring even, but they can only take us so far. It is in our actions that our true worth, character, and abilities are revealed. Words are often just that, words, until they are backed by something more substantial. Our ancestors, with their deep wisdom and understanding of human nature, taught us a fundamental truth, that wise people speak sparingly, and when they do, their actions speak even louder than their words ever could. Let me tell you a story, one that I find deeply meaningful, which illustrates just how much more powerful actions are than 1,000 empty promises. In a quiet village tucked away in the rolling hills of the countryside, there were 2 childhood friends named Jake and Ben. The village, small but close-knit, had been struggling with an age-old problem, a lack of fresh, reliable water. The leaders of the village, desperate for a solution, decided to enlist the help of 2 men they trusted. Jake and Ben were given the immense responsibility of digging a well that would provide the villagers with fresh water, nourishing them through every season. Jake was the type of man who never seemed to stop talking. His words flowed as easily as a river, full of ambition and promises. He would spend hours telling anyone who would listen about the well he would dig. He would boast about how deep and wide it would be, about how it would be the most magnificent well the village had ever seen. He spoke with such confidence, describing every detail in vivid imagery, and was convinced that his promises alone would leave everyone impressed. "No one has ever seen anything like this," he would say, his voice filled with self-assurance. "I will provide the village with the best well ever." Ben, on the other hand, was a quiet, humble man. He believed that actions were more important than words. Instead of talking about his plans, he simply got to work. Day after day, he woke up early in the morning, shovel in hand, and began digging the well. His movements were steady and methodical, each shovelful of dirt dug with purpose and dedication. He didn't seek applause, nor did he expect anyone to notice his hard work. He didn't need to prove anything to anyone. His focus was on doing the job well and doing it right. His silence spoke volumes. Weeks turned into a month, and during this time, Jake's grandiose plans and promises continued to flow from his mouth. He spent so much of his energy talking about how great the well would be, and how quickly he would complete it, that he neglected to do the actual work. Meanwhile, Ben kept digging. One shovel at a time, he dug deeper into the earth, never once letting distractions or idle chatter get in the way of his goal. And then, after what seemed like a lifetime of digging, Ben completed the well. It was everything the village needed: deep, steady, and reliable. The villagers were astonished by the results. They gathered around to admire the work, marveling at the well that had appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Ben had not sought praise, but now it came freely. The villagers praised his dedication, his persistence, and the tangible results of his hard work. His actions spoke for him, and they spoke volumes. Meanwhile, Jake had nothing to show for his words. He had spent all his energy talking, but his well remained unfinished, a hole in the ground with no water to offer. The villagers had grown tired of his empty promises. They saw no results, only words, words that had lost their meaning with each passing day. And so, while Jake continued to boast, the villagers began to lose their faith in him. They realized that words, no matter how grand, could not replace the value of a single action performed with dedication. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. At that moment, Jake was struck with a profound realization. Saying 10 things is far less valuable than doing one thing well. His words, once so powerful, now felt hollow. He saw that no amount of boasting could match the quiet power of a single, well-executed act. And though the lesson was hard, it would stay with him for the rest of his life. His words had meant nothing without action, and without action, he had failed to fulfill his promise. This story, my friends, carries a powerful message that we can all relate to. It reminds us that in this fast-paced world of endless chatter, it is easy to get caught up in making promises or talking about what we intend to do. But what truly matters is not what we say, it is what we do. Words may inspire, but only actions can create real, lasting change. Our words may paint pictures of what could be, but it is our actions that turn those pictures into reality. In today's world, we often find ourselves surrounded by people who talk and talk, but never seem to follow through. We live in a society that values words and promises, but we must remember that actions are what truly define us. No matter how loudly we speak or how many promises we make, if our actions do not align with our words, we lose credibility. People remember what we do, not just what we say. The beauty of this lesson is that it applies to all aspects of life. Whether it's in our relationships, our work, or our community, it is our actions that define us. A small act of kindness, a moment of patience, or a job done with dedication, these are the things that leave a lasting impact. We don't need to talk endlessly about how we are going to change the world or improve our lives. What matters is that we show up, that we put in the effort, and that we follow through. When we work with sincerity and focus, the results speak for themselves. And when we remain silent in our actions, the world will notice. Let us not waste our time making grand promises or explaining ourselves over and over. Life does not need us to justify our intentions. What it needs is for us to do the work, to show, through our actions, the person we truly are. If we work with purpose and dedication, others will see it. The respect we seek will come not from our words, but from the sincerity and commitment we display through our actions. Friends, we don't have to make big declarations or seek validation from others. What truly matters, in the end, is what we do. Our actions are the language of wisdom, the truest form of self-expression. So let us embrace this truth. It's not our words that will be remembered, but the meaningful actions we take. Let's stop talking and start doing. In the end, it's action that leaves a legacy, not words. As we wrap up today's lesson, I want to leave you with one final thought. Actions always speak louder than words. From Jake and Ben's story, we've learned that while promises and plans are easy to make, it's the steady, consistent actions that truly define who we are and what we can achieve. So, ask yourself, what will your actions say about you? Now, I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned today that you plan to bring into your life? How will you make sure your actions align with your words moving forward? Please take a moment to share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue to bring you valuable content. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments.